Welcome back to today's Explainer, where we are going to unpack the deeply allegorical and honestly breathtaking chapter, The Door to Future Memories. We're going to trace this really profound emotional journey, moving from the crushing, heavy burden of preserving the past all the way to beautifully embracing the promise of the future. It's a massive shift in how this universe operates, so let's just jump right in. Okay, let's ground our whole journey today in this one profound realization from the ancient ocean. It says, memory stores what was, but hope stores what can be. Think about that for a second. This single, powerful thought sets the philosophical foundation for everything we're about to explore. I mean, for an entity that has existed for literally millions of years, just holding on to the weight of history, this is a huge turning point. We are finally shifting from constantly looking backward to actually looking forward. So let's dive into Section 1, The Unknown Door. Our story kicks off with an absolutely unprecedented event. Picture this, a flawless, perfectly white door just appears out of nowhere. No lock, no handle, zero ancient symbols carved into it, nothing. Its sudden appearance is so totally baffling that the ancient ocean, an entity that has literally known everything for millions of years, goes completely silent. It doesn't know what to do. And faced with this impossible anomaly, Hina asks this pivotal question. How can we remember what doesn't yet exist? It's a brilliant question, right? It challenges the core laws of their entire world. Up until now, their reality has been entirely about recording what's already happened. So how exactly do you remember the unlived? Well, we see 3 different attempts to figure this thing out, and each one just deepens the mystery. First, Kaito touches the door, and bam, he's immediately hit with these intense, non-human emotions. It's a dizzying mix of profound fear, agonizing loneliness, but also this incredibly delicate hope of something unborn. Next up is Mira. Now, you know her unique gift usually lets her see the history of literally any object she touches. But here, she sees millions of unlived possibilities, fragments of beautiful stories that haven't even happened yet. And then we reach the climax. The ancient ocean itself finally admits, I cannot read this memory. The pacing here is just masterful, building the suspense right up to the ocean's shocking admission of total ignorance. And this is exactly what forces a fundamental paradigm shift in their universe. It's like a giant puzzle finally clicking into place. On one side, you've got memory, rigidly hoarding what was, bearing this immense, crushing weight of history. But on the other side, you have hope, openly carrying what can be, just completely embracing the limitless potential of what's yet to come. As the ocean finally understands this vital difference between the past and the future, the water in the ancient library begins to glow softly. It is such a quiet, beautiful moment of pure realization. Which brings us to Section 2, Keepers of Sparks. Okay, so that realization we just talked about, it triggers a massive cosmic shift. The star of memory literally shatters in the sky. It breaks apart into thousands of tiny, brilliant lights. And they don't just fall randomly. They gently rain down all over the globe, drifting across endless oceans, forests, sprawling cities, and quiet deserts. And eventually, each individual spark actively seeks out a very specific human host to inherit this incredible new power. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly are the criteria for these keepers? Because it's truly fascinating. The universe completely ignores the strongest warriors, the most powerful leaders, and the greatest minds. Physical or mental superiority means absolutely nothing here. Instead, these sparks choose people based on one simple, beautiful requirement. They once helped another person without expecting a single thing in return. The universe is literally banking its future on selfless compassion. How cool is that? Moving right along to Section 3, Fading Shadows of the Past. But, with every new beginning, something else has to end. The joy of these new sparks is immediately met by this eerie, bittersweet contrast. People start noticing these blurred, silent silhouettes standing quietly by the water, just staring out at the horizon before vanishing completely with the tide. In a deeply poignant scene, Hina actually approaches one of these towering figures, a shadow woven entirely out of fog and starlight. And the entity just whispers, "We are late," before gently shuddering into drops of light. It's a heartbreaking realization. The era of pure memory is ending, and their time has entirely passed. And this systemic change hits really close to home for our beloved characters, Ren and Aoi. They are forced to confront their own fading existence. They reappear in reality, but their silhouettes are becoming increasingly transparent. Reality itself just can't hold on to them anymore. as the world aggressively moves forward. The ocean watches this whole thing unfold and finally accepts a really difficult truth. Even the most deeply important, world-defining stories must eventually step aside and become the past. And Ren just perfectly captures this ultimate letting go. He looks at Hina, looking totally unburdened, and tells her, stories don't belong to people. People just pass them on. With this profound truth, he actually hands Hina the old moon pendant. It's this deeply symbolic, passing the torch gesture that signifies the complete release of the past, completely trusting the next generation to carry the narrative forward. And finally, we arrive at Section 4, the future of the world. So with the past gracefully stepping aside, that mysterious white door we talked about at the beginning, it finally begins to swing open. And behind it, there's no blinding light, no crushing darkness. It is just an endless, breathtaking, starry sky. Hina steps forward and realizes the absolute truth of it all. The stars she's looking at are reflecting the faces of people who haven't even been born yet. She hears the sound of a child's future laugh, the pitter-patter of first steps, and echoing unspoken words whispering, "I love you." The ocean, completely free of its anxiety, whispers with deep reverence. It's a sea of possibilities. Behind this door isn't the memory of the world, it's the unborn future, bursting with unlived love and absolute potential. Imagine we jump generations into the distant future. A little girl who has never even seen the ocean finds an old shell on the beach. She holds it up to her ear, but instead of the roar of the waves, she hears a gentle whisper, "Welcome home." And deep, deep below the surface, for the very first time in millions of years, the ancient ocean actually smiles. It completely resolves that ancient anxiety into a profound, enduring peace. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take a second and ask yourself, what legacy of compassion are you passing forward? The future isn't built by those who just hoard the past, but by those willing to carry sparks of hope into the unknown. Because if an ancient, rigid ocean can learn to smile at what hasn't even happened yet, what possibilities are waiting behind your door?